minute. I haven't asked this in a while. I low-key needed to be telling myself this throughout this whole 2 months. But that's okay. Neither here nor there. We're going to talk about that later. But how are you feeling today? How are you doing? Have you looked in the mirror today and told yourself that you're beautiful, that you're worthy, that you are competent, that you can do this? If not, stop this video, go ahead and do that, and then come right back.
Yes, so by the title of this video, you guys can tell what we're going to talk about. We're talking about step 1 and our experience with it.
Yeah.
There are so many videos out there talking about like how to prepare for step that we felt like it would be like
not gonna be a video.
It would be a disservice to you guys to put up another video talking about that. Like,
this is not that video.
Yeah, the video,
Abe has a very good video, so we're gonna
ambitious
link that
video.
down below.
Yes.
His video is awesome about preparation for step, and he goes into a lot of great details.
It's like 3 parts or 4 parts.
Yeah, it's like 3 or 4 parts. Like literally, that's great. But if you don't study like him, if that doesn't work for you, it's okay.
Yeah,
like, it's okay, and that's one of the big reasons why we're not gonna film like a preparation for step 1, because going through this process, we realize that like
a lot of things
everything doesn't work for us. Like, you really need to figure out what works for you, and by 2nd year, you should kind of already have an idea of what works for you, and just stick to what you've been doing. Don't try to do anything new. And if you do have questions about what to do, like, you can email us or DM us separately, but we're not gonna make like a video about it, if that makes sense. So
So, I guess we can just kind of like hop in, because, you know, y'all, we go
this
right
is transparent, y'all. So, and the reason why we're making this video now and not like, you know, a week or 2 ago.
Right.
We would have been crying the whole time. So.
Yeah, like, let's be real. Okay, so something that I wish someone would have told us, and some of our 4th year friends now tell us, they're just like, we knew it was super hard. We didn't want to scare you guys. Like, I'm a person who needs to know what I'm going into. I don't like going into things blind.
And no shade to nobody or like disrespect.
Yeah.
Like, I really wish that somebody would have sat down to me and told me how dedicated it was going to be. And dedicated is the amount of time that your school is going to give you to only study for step 1. Our school gave us 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Other schools have like 6 weeks. Some schools have like 12 weeks.
Yeah.
It just depends on the school that you go to. I didn't take 7 weeks. I took longer. So, we'll get into that. Later.
So, yeah, I think going in, I was under the impression, like, we talked about how we was going to go on vacation, and like we had
trips booked, honey. I had my flight to Thailand booked. Like, what?
And we're still going to go to those places.
Yeah,
like,
next year.
Like, for sure. Like, we're going to be traveling. Don't get it twisted, but it was like the sacrifice that we had to make.
Yeah.
I went in thinking that it was going to be like a 7-week situation. I'm going to go study hard, all that good jazz, go to LA, come back, start rotations on time. And I did start rotations on time, but like, I literally took step 2 days before rotation started. That's how I pushed it back to like the limit. And then I think it was probably like week 2 or 3 when I was just like, okay, what I'm doing isn't working.
Yeah.
Like, this is like, what's going on? Like, at that point, I hadn't moved my test back. I was planning to take it within 6 weeks or whatever, and I hadn't pushed it back, and I was freaking out. And I was just like, bruh, this is not it. Like, we're studying day in, day out, like
12, 14 hours. Like, this is no joke, y'all. Like, we were not playing games.
A joke. Like, I think the problem that I had was not having a schedule from day 1.
Yeah, same.
And people did tell us to make schedules.
Well, the thing is, I made a schedule.
You didn't stick to it?
No, the thing is, like, my schedule was unrealistic.
Yeah.
Like, I literally put way too much on my schedule, and so I felt, like, overwhelmed, one, and I was like, and then I felt bad because, like, just because, like, you're studying 12, 14 hours, and you're still not getting everything done. So I was supposed to originally take my test on April 17th, and then, like, I wasn't seeing the scores that I wanted to see, and so I was like, okay, let me give myself another week, and I started seeing, like, a big improvement. So I was like, good, I'm on the right track, but I still wasn't eating, I still wasn't sleeping right, I still, like, my, like, physical health and my mental health were still not there. And so, like, the week of my exam, when I moved it back again to the 26th of April, I took my last practice test, the practice test that's, like, supposed to be, like, the best predictor. And, like, my brain went blank. Like, my mind went blank. I couldn't focus. I was running out of time, and I completely bombed that practice exam. And that's, like, that was God telling me, sis, like, you need to slow down. Like, you need to get yourself together. So, like, that weekend, I moved my test back again. And then I went home. Like, I was finally taking a break. That was the first time I took a break in, like, 7 weeks. So I finally took a break, went home, saw my mama, you know, saw my family and everything. And so then I pushed my test back to May 24th, and that's when like I took my test. Yeah. So because I gave myself time, I was like, Jessica, now you're gonna take breaks. You're not gonna go as hard because you've already learned all the information. You just need to like review and stuff. And so that was actually like the most beneficial thing because I saw more improvement. Like I was eating a little bit more. Still, my appetite wasn't there all the way, but I was eating a little bit more, and I just felt more at peace, and I felt better. So you have to do what works for you. You're gonna see people around you taking this exam. You're gonna see people who didn't have to push their test back at all.
It doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter. Like don't. It's gonna be so hard for you to do this, but don't compare yourself to other people too much because you're going to compare yourself to people. So I'm not gonna say don't do it at all because that's just it's inevitable. Nature. Like it's gonna happen, but don't let that affect you and try to just limit the amount that you compare yourself to others. And like the devil's gonna creep into your mind and tell you all these negative thoughts about yourself, and you're just gonna be like, just gonna be like, shoo, devil, get away! Like I don't want to hear it. You better back because like it's real.
You don't really know what you're getting into until you're in it. But
and this is our experience.
Yes.
So like everybody has a completely different experience, and it depends on the goal that you have for yourself.
Right.
I set my goal very, very high. Towards the end, I was like, you know what? I get what I get because at this point, I'm tired of studying. I'm tired of being in this dark place. Like I just want to take this test and be done. But originally, I was supposed to take my test like 5.5 weeks in. Because granted, we've been studying for this before dedicated.
Right.
Like I started seriously studying like in January. So I was like studying for STEP and I was studying for like my core classes. And so I was like, yeah, 5.5 weeks is gonna be fine. Like I'll be good, you know, because I had a target score and then I had a goal score. Right. So like my goal score was really, really high. My target score was like a little bit above average. So I was like, you know, as long as I hit that target score, like, I'm good. I'm good shit. I wasn't hitting anywhere near that in the beginning. So
those practice tests humble you. Okay.
Humble you.
You like literally we took a practice test a week and it was like,
and that's one thing I wish I wouldn't have done either.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to other people and they're like, yeah, you need to take one every week. But knowing myself, I should have like just focused on UWorld and like learning the content again and reviewing more for at least the first 2 or 3 weeks, and then after that start doing like practice tests. Yeah. Because I mean, if you just take practice tests and you haven't reviewed everything, like you're gonna get the same score.
Yeah, that's true.
Nothing's gonna change.
Because I think the issue was that for me, like I truly didn't understand the material the way I thought I did, and so going into dedicated, I was like teaching myself new things and like. It was supposed to be more of a review, but I ended up like learning things over again. So I didn't have a good grasp over a lot of different concepts that I should have had down pat before I started dedicated. Yeah.
And I mean like, and that goes back to like, I know I was struggling like my first 2 years, and so I knew I wasn't gonna like be amazing or whatever going into STEP, but I didn't know it was gonna be like that. Yeah. Like I was so hard on myself, guys. Like, so like you're gonna be like, well, she would did this, oh, she did this, but you can't. You can't go back in time. Like, so what you gonna do?
Like I made a tweet on Twitter like last week or something like that, and I was like, you cannot stress over the things that are out of your control. At that point, like focus on the things that you can actually control and like put your energy to that, because crying over spilled milk is literally going to get you nowhere.
And it's
that's
hard.
Really what we were doing.
It's really hard to do that.
Yeah.
Especially being in medical school, you have a type of personality.
Type A.
You are a type of person. You are very critical of yourself. You're very hard on yourself. Of course, you're a hard worker. You push yourself. But in my case, that was very detrimental. So like throughout the whole thing, I was waking up early, going to sleep sometimes at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I'm the type of person, if I don't finish something, I'm going to finish it. Like, if it's midnight and I said I wanted to be in bed by this time, but I'm not done what I want to finish, I'm going to stay up until it's done. And that's not good because I wasn't sleeping like I needed to. I also lost like 10 to 15 pounds during this time.
That's a lot of weight,
it was really bad. Like, I wasn't eating. I lost my appetite at the very beginning. I didn't get my appetite back until 2 weeks ago, which is after I took my test. Like, fully get my appetite back. Because stress I've never had that type of stress before. Because I eat everything. Like, I love food. So I wasn't eating. I wasn't sleeping. I was crying every day. Like, and I'm not a crier. Like, I have my stuff together. Like, I pride myself on being strong and having my stuff together. But also, being strong doesn't mean you can't cry. So,
True seed.
Learn that over these last 2 weeks. So, it was just a bad experience. Like, I was in a dark place. Like, I got a therapist now, y'all. Like, it's just, like, it was a lot. But, like, I'm very, very thankful for this opportunity and for like not this opportunity but for that experience because it allowed me to like reflect a lot internally and to like realize things about myself that I didn't know or that I was just like kind of like pushing back and like, oh, I'll work on that later. And during step it was like, nah, you can't work on that later. It's like now's the time to work on this.
For me it was so difficult because the times where I was struggling, I would compare myself to everybody else. I'm like, well, why is mama not getting it? This person is getting it. It's like so much easier. This concept isn't that hard. And I go, why are you so like, I was literally talking to myself. Like, no one else can talk to me as down as I talk to myself.
Bruh,
like,
what? Period. If y'all can hear the thoughts that I had in my head,
it was actually very
like you would be like, Jessica, you need to chill. Like, why are you talking to yourself like this?
It was really bad. And I was like, after every practice test, I wasn't getting what I wanted. I was crying and breaking down, like having moments. It was too many times where I was like having like anxiety, not panic attacks, but I was just like really freaking out. Like if I can't get it now, who is to say that I can get it then? Like it was just like a lot of your insecurities come to the forefront during this time, like imposter syndrome, doubting yourself. I was thinking, like, I had deep-rooted issues from, like, getting into medical school that kind of resurfaced, and I was just like, well, you got in here by luck, and you, like, all this stuff that is not true, but in that moment, anxiety is going to make you think all of these unrealistic thoughts, and it's just like, I'm here for a reason. I didn't get here by chance, I didn't get here by luck, and I'm going to get out of here by luck. Like, we're going to put in the work that is necessary for us to get out of here. And being in clinic, I realized how much knowledge I actually know. But when I'm given that information and asked about it on a test, it's like the information just everything kind of like goes and like dissipates, and it's like I have all these facts that haven't been solidified into actual knowledge, and it's like that's what kind of messed me up for this test, I feel like. And so I know that this test number, whether I did extremely well, whether I did extremely poorly, like that doesn't define how well I'm going to be as a physician. And that's what we really want you guys to remember. Like, you guys are probably haven't taken STEP or not even in med school yet, but like y'all are taking the MCAT, you're looking at your GPA. Those numbers do not define you. Like, you're smart, you're capable, and you're competent, but at the end of the day, like, you have to put in the work to make sure that those numbers are at least competitive enough to get you to where you want to be.
And that's the part that sucks.
It does.
Because although, like, we can preach and say all day that numbers don't define you, but they still have to be comparable to you know, the average or, like, to somewhat to get you into the door and where you need to be, which sucks. And, like, hopefully later down the line we can have some impact in changing that. Right. But right now, that's how things are. But, yeah.
It was really hard, y'all.
It was hard. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It was very hard. Like, I was calling my mama at least 3 times a day. Crying most of those times I was calling her. But we got through it.
We did.
Not alone. God is the only one who got me through it. And friends, support system, and God, literally.
That's it.
That's honestly it. Because when you don't believe in yourself, like knowing that other people believe in you and having those people like speak life into you, pray for you, testify with, like, just having those people really speak life into you consistently on an everyday basis, like, it speaks volumes. It gets praying, like, my relationship with God grew closer over this time. Like, my faith is just unbreakable right now because I know what God can do. And you know what? I'm not going to even... Y'all, I'm not going to even emotional during this. But, like... It was real.
It was definitely real. Like, I remember when I first went into stuff, I was like, I must be exercise. When I'm stressed out, I'm just go to the gym, exercise. By the 3-week mark, because I had told myself I was going to do it in 6 weeks. Halfway through, I'm like, you're not even close to where you want to be, like, target score wise. So what are you doing? I stopped eating right. I stopped going to the gym. Like, I was just stress eating. It was a mess. Like, mentally, they always tell you, like, this is what you need to do when you get stressed out. But, like, when you're in it, you ain't trying to hear all that.
Because we knew what to do. Like, honestly, going in, we knew everything that we needed to do. It was just hard doing it. Like, they say take at least a day off. I didn't take any days off in the beginning. Like, and that's what kind of...
It's hard when you do take it off. It's like, I should be studying.
Yeah.
Like, you feel a lot.
And you're still going to be thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because, like, I took no days off in the beginning. Like, the first 7 weeks. No, the first, like, 6 weeks, I didn't take any days off. It's so real. So, you just have to do what works for you.
Trust yourself. Like, Raheem we reached out to Raheem, like, during our little crisis
Shout out to you. Shout out to Esther.
Yes.
Everybody who helped us along this way, like,
y'all
you guys are
amazing.
MVPs.
He was basically saying, like, you know the way that you know yourself best. Like, you can ask for advice from bajillion one people, but you know what works for you the best and what's going to, like, be realistic for you in terms of studying, in terms of coping with stress. Like, you know. And you have to just trust that it's going to work out for you, because I feel like I had this, like, deep-rooted trust that it was going to be okay, but in the moment when you're freaking out, like, I didn't know what was, like, what the outcome was going to be. And I took my test, and it was hard. It was hard. So I was just like, listen, like, this is all, like, I did what I could do. Like, I went into that test with confidence and everything like that. I don't regret anything. There's a difference between talking to people and going on Reddit, okay? So when you talk to people in real life, you realize, like, a lot of people you think are struggling. Like, a good majority of people
you would never think we're struggling, like,
are struggling.
With step one, they're struggling.
So when you go on Reddit and you see all these people making like 260s, 270s or whatever, it's like that's a minority group of people who do that and who are posting, like, those scores.
Because if you look at the average still gets 229. So the people who are getting like 260s, 270s, 250s,
and sharing their stories,
and sharing their stories, like, good for them, but that's not the average.
Yeah, it's not. Like, those are unicorns, sis. So it's like, just remember that. And I think making this video and, like, in the lieu of all the other Step 1 videos that are going to be coming out soon now, people will study for it, like, just remember that, like, you guys can kind of find comfort knowing that we were struggling too.
But this is a mental test. Like, over anything, it's about stamina.
Yeah.
And it's about being confident in yourself. If you walk in confident in yourself, whether you memorize everything in first aid or not, like, you can get a good score. It's really about being confident in yourself and your knowledge over these past 2 years that you've accumulated. Like, you just have to be confident in yourself and God and whatever powers you believe in. For me, that was God. I was like, if I don't know it, you do, God.
Right.
So, like, you got me.
Remember,
we got this. We're taking this test together. Like,
because if you go in there fearful, you're gonna start blanking.
You are. When I went in there was stuff I didn't know. I was like, keep going. Like,
you can't freak out.
And
don't have the luxury to do
if
that.
I would have took that test originally when I was supposed to take it, I would have been freaking out.
Yeah.
Like, I literally would have been freaking out and be like, oh my God,
so, because the reality is, it's what, 280 questions. There are 40 questions sets. You have an hour to do 40 questions. Once you submit next and go into the next section,
the other section's
you can't
gone.
think about that no more. Like, it's done. It's a done deal. So if you were to go in there with no confidence, you'll be still thinking about, like, that last section. And then on top of that, during your breaks, you have the opportunity to look through first aid.
Don't do it.
Don't do that.
I brought first aid because it's like, I can just look over it a little.
Right.
Girl, no.
There was a girl that...
And don't look at it after your test is over. It's going to take
you
everything
really
in you. It's going to take everything in you
Yes.
not to look, but don't look. Because even me, I was thinking about answers. I was like, Jessica, you got that one wrong. Or you should have put this. I was like, you're not going to look it up. Like, you're not. You're not going to look it up. It doesn't matter. It's already done. You can't do anything.
You can just cry about it. That's not going to work. It's not going to help you, like, at all. Like, this girl, when I was taking it, she just had her laptop open with Anki cards, and she was doing Anki cards during her break. And I was like...
That's not a break.
Like... I mean, hopefully she did well. I hope it didn't, like,
throw her
off and all that stuff, but...
Because your breaks are short. Like, you don't have that long.
Yeah.
Like, those breaks went by fast. So when I was taking my little 10-minute here, 10-minute there, I was like, ooh, this is fast.
Lunch break flew by. But yeah, overall, like I said, when you take this test, when you, like, the day before, just make sure you're going in there with no regret. Make sure you're going in there knowing that you prepared to the best of your ability. And that's why I didn't have any regret when I submitted my exam, because I was like, I did everything that I could. So
that's real. That's literally the biggest thing. Like, whether you have to push it back to give yourself more time to review all the things you need to review or whatever, you definitely set a deadline though. Yeah. Like, you can push your test back forever.
Right.
Like you literally can. So make sure you give yourself a deadline and stick to that deadline and that date. But yeah, just do the best that you can do. Yes. The best that you can do. Not anybody else. You. Do the best that you can do, and once you go in and you take that test, you can really be satisfied. And, like, no matter what score I get, I know that I literally gave this thing my all. I did everything that I could possibly do, and I am okay with that. So
yeah. So hopefully you guys, enjoyed this video, and that you've gained some type of insight into what STEP is like on the mental health aspect of things. Yeah, so share this video with a friend or two. Make sure you guys are following us on social media. We're back on there, y'all. So
we're back and we better.
Chocolate Docs on Instagram, chocolate_docs on Twitter. We're on Facebook, y'all. If y'all have any questions, DM us. What else? Email us, chocolatedocs@gmail.com.
And we know application season started. Sorry, y'all. We like literally we're in a bubble.
Yeah, we were in a bubble
for like 2 months plus.
Yeah.
So life was still happening.
Yes.
We didn't see that life.
Yeah.
So we know applications open at the beginning of May. It's now June, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So we know that like a lot of y'all are submitting your applications, getting your applications together. So don't forget about our application series.
Yes.
So be sure to check that out because we made a lot of great videos answering the majority of your questions. So if you do have any other questions that weren't answered in those videos, then feel free to email us, DM us, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So we will see you guys in our next video.
Bye.
Bye.